say, I was like, first and foremost, what I'm about to say is not going to be politically correct. I'm not interested in dating any of you, and I'm not interested in sleeping with any of you. So I'm not going to sway my position to gain favor, excuse me, to gain favor in you. Because what happens is that when we have these conversations, there usually is an outlier that will try to posture himself to seem much more
Oh
likable
yeah.
or much more favorite among other men in the space, because they're like, oh, I would never do that, or I have never done that, or I agree with you. You know,
That's who we usually call Mr. Nice Guy. And what do you call it? It's the male version of a pick me. He's bending over backwards to agree with women at the expense of other men, even for the sole purpose of having sex with the women. Or I shouldn't say that, to look more as a, to present his more present to himself as a sexual option. Welcome back to Money, Marriage, and Media. Today we have a whole bunch of fireworks going on outside. Ain't nothing I can do about it, guys. We just have to get through it because this content got to get out, right? These videos got to get made. We're rocking with the Lapeef Network today. Women do not hate the nice guy. Thoughts on this? Older women don't hate the nice guy. Younger women, no, they don't hate him either. They just ignore him. But, you know, we're going to keep moving. Maybe we'll learn something different today.
So there are some nice guys who put on an act just to get, a women in the bedroom. So what are we actually talking about? Are you a good person? Now, if you're a good person, you're going to stand up for what's right no matter what other people are doing. So sometimes that means you're setting yourself apart from the group. Sometimes that means you need to put your foot down and say, "Hey, that's wrong. I'm not doing that." So sometimes being nice could be fake, but are you a good person? I think that's the most important thing. And I think good women like good men.
Women do not hate nice. Women do not hate nice. So this video I'm about to ready to play is in reference to this whole nice guy thing that we always discuss. And she's gonna say that women do not hate nice, that they actually like nice guys, but with certain conditions. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this and we'll go ahead and break it down. Y'all ready? Okay.
Not
Yes, sir.
hate nice men. What we do dislike is men who lack masculinity. Now, a lot of nice guys tend to be men who also lack other masculine traits that women find attractive. And what they do is they blame their nice nature as to why they have no success with women. When you take a man who still has masculine traits and is nice, he ends up having hyper success with women. But when you take a man who's nice by default, because he can't exercise his masculinity, he can't say no, he can't set boundaries, he can't exert his dominance, of course women are not going to find that attractive. The difference between being nice and being a good guy is the nice guy desexualizes himself, and how he desexualizes himself is by
Man, I want to know what she was gonna say.
yeah, me too.
Snip, snip.
Yeah, I started to get some popcorn. Let me ask you guys this. Jay, do you consider yourself a nice guy?
um, yeah.
There were some flaws in the things that she was saying. Mainly, it's like I was saying in the beginning, or about age range. Oh no, it's not even age range. It's level of maturity. You can't tell you how many times women will label young men who are nice, or whatever you want to call it, boring. He's not exciting. He's boring. And this is, again, goes back to what I always tell you guys. We've got to do a better job of raising our kids so that they can mentally mature as fast as they do physically. We've got to start doing a better job of making sure that their relationship skills are developed sooner, so that we can actually lower the marrying age and not have as many issues. Because while lowering the marrying age does solve a couple of things, like the number of children born out of wedlock, it definitely solves that, right? or it lessens it to a significant amount. The downside though is that if you're not mature enough mentally, then marriage is going to probably eat you alive. So how do you fix that? Well, we start doing a better job of raising our kids.
Yeah, probably. Yep.
Okay. What about you, Luis?
I'm nice, but I'm firm.
Okay. Ink.
No.
So you're a mean guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
He trying to get his stock up, man. That's why he said that. Man.
Now, are you not saying that you're a nice guy because of how this YouTube space perceive nice guys? You know, if you were to meet your future mother-in-law and father-in-law, like they say, "Hey, God, tell us about yourself." You say, "I'm not nice."
Yeah, JR, first things first, shout out to Men Are Not the Enemy and new Android, because we know iPhones ain't shit. But you know how people think about me over there. They think I'm some burly, mean, nasty, ornery guy, so might as well give them what they want, right? So no, I'm not nice.
Okay. I'm nice. I got a little edge to me. You know, some people they look at me, they say I don't look approachable. I always look mean. Do you ever smile? So I mean, I'm nice. I got a good heart. I get a good heart from my mother. She has a real big heart. So I would say I'm a nice guy. But let's go ahead and dive into this topic. She says women do not hate nice. What do you guys thoughts about it? I'm gonna start off with a couple ladies, and then we'll get the men involved. So I'm gonna start off with you, Chanel. I know we got a smaller panel. I know we don't have a 5-on-5, so yeah, it's even. Yeah, it's like even 4-on-4, right? Oh, we just lost one, so yeah, it's getting this. Yeah, go ahead, Chanel.
I do agree. I mean, there's nothing wrong with you being nice, but as the lady was stating, some guys think being nice is being a pushover, or to let someone walk all over them, or to completely take away any moral standing from yourself. That's not what being nice is about. Um, Also, there are some nice guys who put on an act just to get, a women in the bedroom. So what are we actually talking about? Are you a good person? Now, if you're a good person, you're going to stand up for what's right no matter what other people are doing. So sometimes that means you're setting yourself apart from the group. Sometimes that means you need to put your foot down and say, hey, that's wrong. I'm not doing that. So sometimes being nice could be fake, but are you a good person? I think that's the most important thing. And I think good women like good men.
Okay. Luis, let me go ahead and go to you next before we go to one of the other ladies. Women do not hate nice.
Yeah, what she said makes sense. But how much you want to bet she is not under the age of 25? So this is why I said what I said. I mean, it's about mentally maturing, and unfortunately, women tend to their maturity stops usually around the time that they realize that men will bend over backwards for them because of their sexuality. Women stop maturing at that point, and it doesn't pick up again until mid to probably no, I'll say late 20s, early 30s, and something tells me that's the age range that she's in. You don't during that time where women are not developing mentally, they don't want to be around nice guys. They want the bad boys because he's exciting. Got to do better.
What do you think about what she said and what Chanel said as well?
I agree. I think what has happened is that we have kind of conflated or changed the definition of what nice is. Somebody who is, respectful, courteous. Somebody who seems like they grew up in a wholesome house, right, with two parents where they showed them certain morals and certain characteristics, right. But unfortunately, the world outside views as nice as being weak or pushover or no backbone, somebody that could walk all over you, right? you know what I'm saying, you're easily swayed, or somebody could challenge your position and make you come off your square. And I think that that is what she was really talking about when it comes to men being nice. Look, there's nothing wrong with being somebody who's respectful, courteous and things like that. I just think that people need to know how to set non-negotiable boundaries as it pertains to certain relationships, business relationships, friendships, relationships, even in your family. You know what I'm saying? There's certain boundaries and certain things that you will not allow and you can't allow because they're your non-negotiable, right? And sort of if you get people that will allow themselves to take that inch, they're gonna take a mile over time because they're gonna try to take advantage of you. It's just it's just inherent, human nature, right? So one of the things that I usually start off a conversation with when I have these types of conversation off Lapeef or offline in group settings like these, and I usually am around a lot of women. First off, I was like, first and foremost, what I'm about to say is not going to be politically correct. I'm not interested in dating any of you, and I'm not interested in sleeping with any of you. So I'm not going to sway my position to gain favor excuse me, to gain favor in you. Because what happens is that when we have these conversations, there usually is an outlier that will try to posture himself to seem much more
Oh
likable
yeah.
or much more favorite among other men in the space because they're like, oh, I would never do that, or I have never done that, or I agree with you. You know,
That's who we usually call Mr. Nice Guy. And what do you call it? It's the male version of a pick me. He's bending over backwards to agree with women at the expense of other men, even for the sole purpose of having sex with the women. Or I shouldn't say that. To look more as a, to present his more present to himself as a sexual option. And there are a lot of guys who do this because, again, a lot of guys will do and say anything for sex. So, yeah, they're out there. But you know what? This is why the vetting process is so important because older men in particular can recognize when that's happening. And when you, as a father, when you see somebody playing your daughter like that, yeah, nah. We're going to put it in, you go into dad mode and start in their protecting thing. And it's like, nah, hey, man, don't let me catch you around here again. Conversation and they usually end up going in that direction.
I'm saying a man who's typically that agreeable is typically one that would, behind the scenes do the complete opposite of what he says. So I usually tell people to kind of be aware of those situations, but up front I let people really know what it is because if you allow people to kind of sway you off your position, most people are going to tend to lose respect for you. How you?
All right. Sugar Curls, I'm going to go to you next. Women do not hate nice.
Yeah, I think her use of the word nice was a little bit different. I was thinking more so, I think women may not like a soft man or a man who is doesn't set boundaries. A man can be nice and polite and respectful, but still set boundaries. He can still be very masculine, but know when to say no, know when to put his foot down. So I would, rephrase and say, do women hate soft men? Where if you're a feminine woman, you might not like a man that's too soft because it's not going to balance you. There are some men who are softer and they work well with women who are not as soft, but
Balanced relationship.
I just think the verbiage was a little bit different. Being nice is just being polite, respectful. I think a good man is somebody who has virtue, has integrity, and so a good man typically is a man who can be nice.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like I said, usually it's the age range is about 25. Women who are under the age of 25 usually don't respect that. And it's basically because they haven't been taught to. So again, we got to do a better job raising our kids. For the women, this is why you need to have men who are men in your family who are going to help you with mate selection. Especially if you're looking to get married, because men, we can sniff this dude out. It doesn't take that much time and effort. And the thing about it is that eventually, those relationships, well, Mr. Nice Guy's not looking for relationships. Usually they're just looking to have sex with you and they move on, because most of them don't believe the stuff that they're agreeing to. They're just agreeing so they can have sex with you. Unfortunate, uncomfortable truth, right? The other thing is that we didn't really get on the topic of chivalry, but it's included in the nice treatment or nice guy behavior. Matter of fact, I think Chanel did bring it up. In today's dating market, most women don't appreciate chivalry. You opening the door for them, and other things, amongst other things, they don't really appreciate it. My advice to you, especially you young guys, is chivalry is a good thing, but women need to earn it. And she's going to earn it by showing that she's actually interested in you. And again, how do you find that out? Through conversation. Doesn't necessarily need to be going on multiple dates. You could get, like I said, you get to know somebody over the phone, and you can find out then what kind of person they are. And that'll tell you whether or not she's interested in you, right? A good example that doesn't work 100% of the time, but it works often, is that when you're talking to her, is she engaging in the conversation, or is it a one-sided conversation where you're asking all the questions? Is she just answering? There, at some point, that's supposed to be. The conversation is supposed to flow back the other way. This is a good sign that the woman's just not that into you. And if that's the case, then I wouldn't waste a lot of time, number one, being chivalrous, and number two, I just wouldn't waste time with that. If I figure out that she wouldn't be interested in me, I'm just going to move on to the next one, because it's not worth it, right? But speaking of that, guys, definitely high-level conversation here. We got to get some more of these YouTube talking points or YouTube terminology, Mr. Nice Guy. So we got to get a better understanding of these things. That's why I do these videos and try and break this stuff down. Because why? The gender war is dumb. And in order for us to move past it and actually start to build again, we've got to understand that, number one, relationships are about balance. Okay? There is things that are meant to, it's just about balancing out. And when I say that, I mean that women and men get benefits from being in that relationship. Now, there are going to be some negatives from both men and women, but the point is that the person offers enough value that you're okay with mitigating the negatives that come with it. But on that note, I'm going to say goes to the next time. Peace.